This is Chris Country welcoming Frankie Ballard to the studio. Hey, how you doing?
Fantastic. Good to be back in the UK.
It is great to have you back here. You were here for Country to Country earlier in the year.
That's right.
And you're now back doing a European tour. I want to find out lots about it. But first, let's just remind ourselves of some of your biggest hits to date so far.
You hit me like fire, shot me like a bullet, burn me up and down, no way to cool it. Every time you kiss me, it's like sunshine and whiskey. How am I ever gonna get to be old and wise if I ain't ever young and crazy? Ooh, LA woman, I know I've been drinking, but I'm thinking you're falling for me.
Now, those are really familiar songs. We play those a lot. And
Thank you.
3 airplay number ones in the States as well. That must have been a pretty cool few years.
Yeah, I've been trying for quite some time. I started this band in Kalamazoo, Michigan 12 years ago, and have been trying to get to a place where radio's playing my songs and we can move around the country and go to other countries, and we're finally here. It's an exciting time, man.
You're from Michigan.
That's right.
A little different to Nashville, I'd have thought.
It sure is. It's a little colder. It's a snowy place. It's a harsh winter and a nice summer, but it was a great place to grow up, very blue collar.
Have you always been a country person?
Yeah, my parents were into old school country. My dad was into Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard, and I sort of just grew up listening to the stuff he was into. He would put on some music while we were, working in the yard or just being around the house. There was always some Elvis going on or something. So I kind of took his influences and have always loved old school country for sure.
And now here you are all over the radio. Can you remember the first time you heard one of your songs on the radio?
Yeah, I was in Michigan, actually. I was driving down the road, and it's quite an experience to hear yourself like that. First of all, radio sounds great, and they kind of boost up the signal a little bit, so it sounded incredible. I remember that. And then I remember thinking, I wonder who else is listening to this station, and looking around to see if, people in other cars. It's just amazing to imagine so many people can hear your music at one time like that.
And then a stream of massive songs that everyone knows and hums and sings along to. I want to ask you about a couple of them, if that's okay.
Sure.
Firstly, Sunshine and Whiskey. What a cool, laid-back feel to that song.
Yeah, which is exactly what we were going for, We wanted to make it feel a little bit West Coast, a little bit like it was taking its time, We've all probably had those experiences in a relationship where it's just electric. It's a connection that sometimes is purely physical, and that's really what that song's all about. It's just having fun.
Chilling on the beach with my sweet Georgia peach, not a care in the world, just trying to beat the heat. Body like an hourglass, sand on the feet, can't help but stare, cause I got the best seat. Just when I thought it couldn't get any hotter, you slid on in, said I'm a little hot and bothered, if you know what I mean. Let's crank it up to 100 degrees, alright. You hit me like fire, shot me like a bullet, burn me up and down, no way to cool it. Every time you kiss me, it's like sunshine and whiskey. Like a bottle of Jack, straight to the head. 1 shot, 2 shot, copper tone red. Every time you kiss me, it's like sunshine and whiskey.
Another one, Hell of a Life. A little more thoughtful, would you say?
Yeah. I've always been a person who sort of likes to be nostalgic and think back, and I compartmentalize my life in that way, and I really feel like that's what this song is. It's a thinking back on the ups and the downs and the moments that got you to wherever you are in your life, and how great life is, and how awesome and amazing of a chance it is to experience life. So it's a celebration of all that kind of history and great things in your life that shape you.
And country music's so good at doing that as well, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's a barefoot country girl swaying to a song that's playing. It's a perfect combination. Bad times make good times better. Look in her eyes and you're gone forever on a heavenly ride. Yeah, it's a hell of a life. It's a hell of a life. Bad times make good times better. Oh, one hell of a life. Look in her eyes and you're gone forever. It's a hell of a life.
Chris Country with Frankie Ballard in the studio. That's Hell of a Life. Now, El Rio is your third album. We had your self-titled album, Frankie Ballard. We had Sunshine and Whiskey. We've got El Rio now. When you listen to them, do you think you've grown and evolved through the albums? What kind of journey is there?
Yeah, absolutely. And as it should be, you know, I've always tried to get better and refine what it is that I do. It's important to me. I've always chased my own sound and what my sound is and what my contribution based on my unique set of influences and all that. So that's a process, you know, and definitely El Rio is a sharper image of what I truly am, but I'm always trying to refine that. So hopefully that process continues, but I think we've been making steps in the right direction.
And I guess the time it takes to make an album, you know, it's all very well sitting with a guitar, playing some chords, coming up with some words, but the amount of time from that original spark of an idea through to actually being able to walk into, Target in the States or HMV here or wherever and picking up that album, that's a long process. There's a lot that goes on as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. From the packaging to the distribution to just the marketing plan and everything that has to get in order. It is. And you can feel yourself growing as an artist even throughout that process. Which is fun, but it's all part of it, you know. And now we're trying to get it out. We're trying to turn people onto it. So that's a whole new part of the process, you know.
Well, we are playing your new single, LA Woman.
Thank you.
Which is a little louder than the other singles we've had of recent years.
Yeah, and that's part of the refinement process, I think. I've definitely been awakening more of my rock and roll influences, which I genuinely have. You know, it started with Elvis, and as a guitar player, I've moved through the rock and roll gamut from Eric Clapton and the Rolling Stones to, you know, Bob Seger and John Mellencamp. And I have a lot of that in me and a lot of blues influence in me as well. So I think as I continue to make records and play shows, there's no doubt that more of that will come as a result. But songs like Cigarette and LA Woman and El Camino and Good as Gold from the new album are definitely examples. And you start to hear some of that leaking in.
I have a couple more questions for you, but first, let's play the new single. Would you introduce it for us?
Sure. This is Frankie Ballard, and you're about to hear L.A. Woman.
Malibu eyes, yeah, Hollywood smile. California girls, oh, never go out of style. With those Malibu eyes, yeah, Hollywood smile. California girls, oh, never go out of style. LA woman, it's gotta be the shortest dress I've ever seen. LA woman, I know I've been drinking, but I'm thinking of falling for me. LA woman, LA woman, LA woman.
LA Woman from El Rio. We have Frankie Ballard here in the studio. Ballard, Frankie Ballard? How do you say?
I say Ballard,
Ballard.
but
right.
either way, I like the way you say
We're
it.
being very British. Ballard. Well, in the meantime, El Rio is new out as of this summer, which includes the song we just played, LA Woman. Plus, if people have enjoyed the other songs we played, Hell of a Life, Sunshine and Whiskey, you've got a back catalogue of music worth investigating as well.
Thank you, sir.
Just want to see if any of your time here has brushed off on you. Got a couple of this or that questions for you to see if there's any Britishness in there,
Okay.
or whether it's full on Michigan.
Okay.
Which of these would you
This is gonna be
choose?
fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Carrie Underwood was 30% British, so
Wow.
that's the kind of standard we're looking at.
Okay.
Would you choose a cup of tea or a cup of coffee?
Being a singer, I'm a tea guy.
Okay.
I'm a tea guy.
Yeah.
I like tea. I think it's a little easier on you than the coffee is on your singing voice. So I'll go tea.
Okay. Would you watch James Bond or Mission Impossible?
Definitely James Bond and definitely Sean Connery's version.
No, very nice. Very nice. Would you choose to listen to The Who or Metallica?
That's a good one. But probably The Who. And I'm not just saying these things to be more British. I'm being honest.
Okay.
I'm being honest.
Well, this is good. This is going a very interesting way. If you had a night off, which I guess doesn't happen too often, and you were going to watch some TV, would you watch Downton Abbey or House of Cards?
Top Gear.
Oh, okay. Right. Excellent. And finally, for a snack, would you go for a Hershey's Kiss or a Cadbury's Cream Egg?
Unfortunately, I would go with the Hershey's Kiss.
Well, even with that, Frankie Ballard, you are 80% British.
That's not
so
bad,
well done.
know?
That is brilliant.
I do love it over here, and I think the culture is right up my alley. You know, the weather is similar to what I'm kind of used to, and I love it over here.
Well, we are loving the embrace of the country and music community coming over here, and we're delighted that you've come back to the UK and to Europe as well. And we hope to see you again sometime in the future.
I've found that the fans are second to none. I was blown away by them, and I'm so thankful for their support. And of course, that's thanks to you for playing the music. So God bless you for having me.
Anytime, Frankie Ballard. Thank you very much.
Chris Country.